So we're back in Cubase 7 again, and what I wanted to do in this video is show you an arrangement technique we used to use back in the day that's really handy if you've got one of those little musical ideas, it's been looping around, you want to try and structure it and turn it into a track. So first of all, I've got a collection of elements here, and these have all been programmed, and it's essentially they're kind of looping every 8 bars. There is some musical variation on some of the parts. I'll take you on a little tour just now. Let's come back to the beginning. So it's a real simple keyboard riff. This is coming from Halion Sonic. It's actually a real nice showcase of some of the sounds within the Steinberg family here. I haven't used any external VSTs at all. Another Halion Sonic patch. There's an ARP, I'm not 100% sure about this just yet. Undecided, but these pads I'm really into. Both of these Halion Sonic again. Halion Sonic SE is a cut down version, in fact, that comes with Cubase 7. So real lush, rich sounds. The bass line, this is Retrolog, it's a custom patch I've created. The clap is Halion 4. It's just a 909 clap. Could have come from anything really, to be honest. Latin percussion. And that's coming from Halion 4 as well. So these are elements that I've programmed in. The other thing that's worth pointing out is the beats. These are all coming from the Midi insert beat designer. So the programming itself I did inside this, and I need to turn that into Midi data. So why don't I do that as the first thing before we move forward. So this is going to place the Midi data between the left and the right locators. And what we need to do is come up to the Midi menu, come down to merge Midi in loop. Okay, so make sure you include the inserts, so it's going to take into account anything you've got over here, and let's take a look. Yep, there's the Midi data, that's the programming. Let's take the Midi beat designer off, so I'm not going to double up, and what I want to do is break this down onto individual Midi tracks. So we're going to have kick, clap, etc. on their own ones. So we right click on here, come down and go to Midi, and we're looking for dissolve part. Take off optimize display, and separate pitches. It means it's going to take each individual sound onto its own Midi track. There we go. So we need to audition these now. Let's take off the original one. So really what you saw before is this whole thing about getting the idea down quickly, getting a vibe on it, and then afterwards we're starting to kind of arrange stuff and turn it into something decent. So that's the kick. That's a hefty old kick there. I wouldn't have usually associated that with the kind of deep house sound that you heard earlier, but there was something about a kick that I really liked. So let's have a look. That's kind of like a hat plus percussion of some kind. Shift plus enter names the actual part the same as the track. It's kind of like another hat. And a little percussive hit again. Hat and perk 2. Tambourine. So you can see I'm layering several kind of hat sounds together. One of these I actually remember I didn't actually put a sound on it. I think I was doubling up and there wasn't a sample there, so I'm going to take that away. Let's remove that. Okay, it's kind of like a delayed clap. So that's the beat elements. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these, just bring them up so that they're in with the other elements. So we've got ourselves the kind of the bare bones here. Just going to shortcut. I'm going to go maybe 2 tracks. No, we're already there. Let's go to 1 track, so vertically height. Getting that so we can see everything. Now another little trick that I would recommend is to get a sense of where the structure is in terms of time at the very beginning. So I'm going to set up a ruler track. So we're going to come up, project add track, and we're going to come down to ruler track. Now the ruler track is basically something we can use as a visual guide. I'm going to set it to seconds, and you can see here along the top we've got the length of the tune. So I'm going to aim to get the track maybe somewhere between 5.5 minutes and 6, I'm not sure. Let me select all of these, and I'm going to do Command and D, duplicate, so we're going to fill in all that space, and there we go, maybe somewhere around here. Command A, and then we're going to go to, which key is it? I've forgotten. Number 7 on the number pad, and that's going to mute these. Actually, I shouldn't have done all of that. So here we go. And let's take these 2 and mute those. So we're basically muting everything. This is the old school method we used to use back in the day. So let's say, for example, the first 8 bars, we definitely have the kick. we probably have that clap going as well. Let me take this out. You get a feel for this. You can see what's going on here. Maybe that clap delay. Let's come back to the beginning and have a listen. So that could be quite a nice intro. I'm going to keep that rolling, and then maybe let's get one of these, maybe both of these. So you get a sense of that working. I'm going to keep that rolling, but then what I'm going to do is maybe bring in one of these pads, maybe this one here. Yeah, just think about a DJ playing out the tune, the previous tune, and yours coming in. So what I might do now, keep that rolling, maybe try the high pad. That didn't come in early enough. There we go. So maybe you will need some kind of a fill to drop down, but what I'm going to do is going to come in with the keyboard, this, and the bass. Get a sense of something missing there with that clap delay. Was it wasn't playing. For me, that's not really working. You know, we've got to try these ideas out and see what happens. Now, it didn't really feel like there was enough of an impact coming in when it transitioned from the pads. The pads actually seem to be dragging the energy down a bit. I'm wondering instead if we should have had that mid pad and then the electric piano coming in before the bass line and so on. So we'll see what happens. Let me take it back. Let's have a listen. Remember also you need some crashes and splashes to punctuate certain sections, maybe every 4 bars, maybe every 8. Never know. Let's see how this goes. The danger with pads is sometimes that they can actually pull the energy down. Okay, that's working better for me. Introducing the keys in earlier. And then what we could do, let's take a look at, yeah, you know what it is that really over here, I should have split the kick, and then on this one, maybe just take these and, you know, maybe mute these instead. Let's have a look, let's come back. That's more like it. So I could have actually punctuated that with some crashes, but because this pattern here is going kind of one low note and then one high note, it's kind of getting your mind in a kind of repetitious cycle, and it's almost as if when I go at the end, it's almost making you think we should be hearing it going down again on the next 8 bars. So what if I mute that, and what if instead I take this and extend it? So then that feels like it's a natural conclusion to that section. So we're not consciously or subconsciously thinking that we're supposed to hear it on the next 8. So let's have a listen, see how that is. Just gonna get some coffee. It's quite early in the morning today. Yeah, now that worked, but what I'm feeling is maybe the volume needs to come down. So I'm going to read the automation on there. I'm going to maybe take this point here and then this one and just bring that down. Let me take this over a bit, see how that feels. Yeah, that was good. Bear in mind, basically, that if we want that back at a later stage, we'll need the level back up. I can't remember what I had it at here. Minus 0.87. There we go. So, yeah, if you're going to do that. But it's quite a nice way to end it there. We definitely need some crashes and cymbals and stuff going on. So that's cool. So we've now got a section where the bass line is in. Maybe I'll drop an element so we can pick up some energy later on. So I'm going to get that mute, and in fact, let's bring on this one here. I've forgotten we haven't used that yet, so that's a nice one. And in fact, the Latin percussion, Do I want to leave that out and bring it in later? I actually thought maybe I want to bring that in earlier. Let me see how that is, because actually, thinking back, that was actually an important part of this. So let me just come back and see how that is. Yeah, I'm going to bring that back. That's kind of like the missing link. But that situation where it's occurring with the every four, there's that kind of clave coming in. I'm not going to have that all the time. Let me just quickly do this as a little fix up for that. Just going to take away that and then just duplicate this one over and that. That's probably going to become the new template, to be honest. In fact, yeah, I'm going to do that. So let me just glue that together, and I should have done ghost copies really, and that means that what I change here will be reflected elsewhere, but I'm going to just copy these over and then see how that is. Yeah, that feels better with the clave at the end of the 8 bars, so let me keep that going. But you can see how this gives you a real sense of building the track up in a really easy way. So we could have done with the crash here. That clave needs some reverb on it. Yeah, that feels all very natural at the moment. So the bottom line is create these 8-bar chunks, duplicate them all, but be prepared to make little edits like we do here. That bass, I'm just gonna roll down the envelope a bit. It sounded a little bit too bright for me. Let's get this, where are we? Keep the electric piano going, very important element. Let's get the bass line going, the clap. You know what, let's keep that rolling, and then the addition of the tambourine should pick up the energy there. So you can feel that extra bit of high frequency energy there. Definitely needs mixing. So that pad, I think we're kind of used to that. Now I just missed it. There we go. Let's keep that rolling. Let's try the higher one this time. So definitely you want to take this. Another approach to this is to take the grid to the beat and then bring this a bit shorter. So it's similar to what I was doing before. So that little drop that occurred there is going to be great for later, but we're not ready for that point. I think what we need to do now is to keep rolling on there. So you know, I'm not going to do the whole structure. I know some of you guys have been saying you'd like to see some longer videos, but I need to leave some of these decisions up to you guys. And you know, I don't have enough time to do loads and loads of videos and do them for a lengthy period of time, yeah, because everything that I'm doing is in my spare time. I still got to do my family business and everything else that I have to slot into life. So please understand that if I was doing it full time, I would just do really lengthy videos and go in tons of detail for you guys, that's for sure. And also, you know, I'm thinking about the ideas of doing some weekend seminars at some point. So let me know if you guys are up for that. It would definitely be in London and potentially other places as well, but yeah, the idea there would be to do a full day, maybe 2 days in a location, a really cool location with a great sound system, and maybe 10 students. Everybody brings laptops down, and we do lots of really good stuff. So yeah, that's something to think about. So anyway, that's it for the moment. You know, honestly, I'm going to work on this tune and get it finished. I definitely thought I'm going to do something with it. So that's the structure idea. You would go through, and I will do a video later on, you know, behind the scenes, you know, going over this once it's finished. So that's the concept: 8-bar chunks, just getting there, muting stuff. Create some variation. You'll start to feel it a bit more organically, I think, when you see it over here. You know, I know, for example, that I'll probably do a breakdown around this point about 2/3 of the way in, and then just kick everything back, so you can really get a sense of the shape of the track. I did say that I wanted to do some mixing stuff, and I just want to show you something. I got a sense that some of these sounds are a little bit too rich, so I'm bringing on the mixer now, and I'm thinking they're the hats and stuff. So there's one of them. All right, let me bring this up. Yeah, look, I thought that was the case. Now, for starts, for me, that feels a little bit too hyper bright. So I'm going to roll off some of the frequencies. Let me turn it down a bit. So we're going to do the high cut. And just come down a touch. I mean, that's too much. We're losing that nice fizzy high end. And we've lost the sound as well. Always a good idea just to get a good loop section where your sound's playing a lot. Let's come back. So, yeah, that's about right. Let me turn on the low cut though. Look, we've got tons of baggage down there. So that's on the left hand side. I thought I could hear that. I mean, these earbuds aren't the best in the world, but I can certainly hear low frequency energy. So we're creating a better sense of space for that sound. I'm going to maybe bring this over further. I had actually panned it a little bit there. And let's take a look at some of the other sounds. Clap fill. Yes, another one. Look at that. Tons of low frequency energy. You know, when you're using sample libraries, you never know what where they've come from, really. Could have come from a record. You know, check out one of my Black Book lessons where we're dealing about things like, you know, lurking frequencies. You've got to be careful if you're sampling from different places. Maybe rolling down. Yeah, there we go. Just creating a cleaner sense of space for some of these sounds. This hat. Whoa, there's another one. Look at this. A lot of these sample designers, they're in a hurry these days. They're having to juggle a lot of things in life. Making their own music and then making sample libraries to try and supplement their income if they're working on this stuff full time, which is a shame. You know, I wish a lot of producers could just focus on making music, really. But that's the way it is at the moment. Okay, another one with quite an abundance of high frequency energy. A lot of people say, really, you know, be careful. You don't have too much going on above 16K. You know, different kind of schools of thought on this. But anyway, look, that feels like it's working better there. Let's come back, have a listen. Okay, so look, you know, that's it. In a nutshell, the structure theme was the whole kind of main theme of this video, but you saw a couple of other little bits and pieces there around it, including the Midi dissolve, which is great if you're using something like the Beat Designer, which is a Midi insert plugin. All right, that's good. And yeah, like I said, I will actually finish this track. You know, not all the tracks I make I finish, but this one I've got a sense I'm going to do it. Maybe get a little vocal in there, spoken word or something. We'll see what happens. But I will revisit the video, and we'll come back and I'll show you at some point in the future how it is when it's finished.